Hey everyone, welcome to the Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It is Tuesday. It is July 22nd. It is 2025. We have a 10-game MLB slate to talk about here on today's podcast. Hope everyone had a fantastic Monday. Looks like it's going to be a good betting and good DFS day for me. So it's always good. I was hoping for a little bit more Giants and a little less runs in the Arizona-Houston game, but overall, looking like it's going to be a pretty good, solid day. So, 10 games again, back on the grind, back on talking some baseball, and should be an interesting one. A lot to talk about and break down. Some games, we get to Grom where we were supposed to get him on Monday. Now we get him today, so that's probably going to end up being pretty helpful. So yeah, 10 games. What's up, chat? Hope you're having a great Monday night. We got Yankees and Blue Jays, 9 total in this game. Shitlitter. uh okay. Sorry. Oh, I just cracked myself up. Against Scherzer. Oh man. Against Scherzer, yeah, Lopez did cash the K strikeout. It was a lot closer than I was hoping for. But all right, we got Yankee side here first. Big Cat. Oh, all right. So I don't have my eyes on. So I'll blame it on that. We all know the real reason, but we'll blame it on that. All right. Anyway, sorry, I am so thrown off right now. Littler, Schlittler, Cam Schlittler. Anyway, obviously he's only had one start. It's throwing me off. Gosh. He gets a matchup here against Toronto, and when we're looking at as quickly pulling him up, I know like he is a prospect and he has really decent stuff, but I didn't know where he was at. I didn't know where he was at on the AAA numbers, and I'm trying to pull it up, and I messed up. Again, I'm just so thrown off. I threw myself off. So in AAA this season, he only threw 23 innings, good strikeout stuff, 35.7% K rate. So like the strikeout stuff I'm seeing for him, in his one start against Seattle, he had good strikeout stuff, but struggle with left-handed power. So it'd be interesting to see what this Blue Jays lineup looks like. He is 8K. He's expensive. Like I said, he's a top 10 prospect in the Yankees organization. So we'll see what we're looking at as far as the lineup. If you get a lot of righties in this lineup, I don't hate taking some tournament shots. And then on the other side, we got Max Scherzer, who's now thrown 5 times this year. Pitched that one game in March, and then like realistically, he's thrown 4 games here recently. The strikeout stuff looked really good against the Athletics last time out. Still gave up a couple home runs. So it'd be interesting to see where his strikeout numbers kind of end up by the end of the year. This matchup, strikeout wise, is good. The Yankees do strike out a bunch, but they also have a ton of power. So I mean, that is definitely the concerning thing here for Scherzer. Threw 90 pitches last time out, so that's definitely a good sign. Only 7,500, so maybe a potential large field tournament play. If you want to take some shots on him, I necessarily wouldn't talk you off of it by any means. As far as the bats, I mean, with the home runs that he just gave up against the Athletics, I don't mind like a Grisham, Judge, Dominguez type of plays. I mean, I definitely, even last year when we saw Scherzer pitch a little bit, he was really struggling lefties. So I prefer the left-handed power in this lineup. more than anything else. Other side of this game, the Blue Jays bats. I mean, it's tough to say. We don't have a ton of data on this guy. I mean, Barger, always someone that I like getting some exposure to. The left-handed bat there. Wish Varsho was back in this lineup. I did read a report that he is rehabbing in minor league games now. So I mean, that's a really good sign. Probably not getting too much exposure to the Blue Jays here. I mean, I feel like if you're going to play the Blue Jays in this spot, you probably stack them. I think that's how you would approach playing them on this one. Angels, Mets facing off against each other here. 9.5 total. We got Hendricks and Montas. Mets a pretty big favorite here, -176. We'll start with Kyle Hendricks, who, I mean, at this point, he's just trying to go out and pitch to contact. He has a 16% K rate, 5% walk rate, 199 ISO. Swinging strike rate is awful. The whiff rate is really low. Just again, he's kind of pitching to contact. Right-handed power bats have really beat up Kyle Hendricks, so not a guy that I want to play here. Other side of this game, Frankie Montas. We've only seen him a little bit this year. Pitched well last time out against Kansas City, but overall just really hasn't had like dominating stuff. He is much better against righties. Throughout his career, he's been much better against righties. So you get a very right-handed heavy lineup that strikes out a bunch here in a good ballpark, but I just don't think I could do it. I wouldn't be shocked if like Montas has like a 5, 6, 7 strikeout game, but overall, it just doesn't look like a spot that I love. So probably pass on Montas today. As far as the bats for the Angels, I mean, this is a spot I definitely like Moncada. Love lefties against Montas, have throughout his entire career. If you're going to play Moncada, I don't mind maybe getting like a 3-man with Trout and Ward or Neto. But overall, Moncada would be my favorite bat from this team. Other side, I mean, if Pete Alonso is in the lineup and he's good to go, I have a lot of interest in him. Hendricks has really struggled with right-handed power. He's definitely the right-handed power bat in this lineup. He's 5K. So I really like this matchup for Pete Alonso. Definitely a home run that I want to chase. I will say, like, he has been pretty ice cold recently. So there's always that concern. But overall, I like the righty-righty matchup against Hendricks. And I don't mind taking some shots on the lefties. Lindor, Soto, Nimmo, McNeil type plays. Moving on. We got San Francisco at Atlanta, taking on the Braves. 9.5 total here. Roop against Daniel. Obviously, like I said yesterday, watch the weather. It's definitely that time of the year. So we'll start here with Landon Roop. So, I mean, if he could go out and throw some quality innings here, they definitely need him to eat up some innings. Birdsong getting eliminated or knocked out really early in that game definitely depleted the bullpen a little bit after a long weekend. So, overall, don't think I like Landon Roop, but I wouldn't necessarily. I would understand why you'd get some exposure. I think he could have a little bit longer leash today. And then on the other side, Davis Daniel, obviously started the season as like a reliever, got sent down, got stretched out. So he's cheap. I don't know. Like, even if we look at like last year's numbers for him, they're not like amazing numbers. So we have a lot. I feel like the sample size we have on him is good enough. He was in the Angels system and just kind of struggled overall. I mean, in AAA, this season, he's thrown 76 innings. He has 60 strikeouts. His his xFIP is over 5. Struggling with command big time. His walk rate's 10%. Gives up a lot of fly balls. I mean, all that sounds terrible, especially this time of the year with the weather. Probably likely going to be very good. So back to the Giants bats for the second straight day. They kind of let me down. I mean, Adames had a really good game. Was hoping for more out of a few of these guys, but I think it's right back to the well here. Looking at the advanced stats for Daniel, I want to pick on him with the Giants bats, getting a huge ballpark upgrade. Landon Roop, like he's been really decent this year. He does do a really good job of like generating ground balls and not getting blown up, which is always really good. He's a sinker pitcher. So, anytime you get a guy that's going to throw 40, 50% sinkers, you definitely want to look at the data a little bit. Olsen and Acuna, both very good against sinkers. So I think those are the two guys you're looking at in this lineup. I think realistically, with Birdsong getting hit so hard on Monday and the bullpen getting used quite a bit, I think this is a spot you could stack up the Braves and just hope that like they get to this guy early and you're just getting a very taxed bullpen here for San Francisco. White Sox at Tampa taking on the Rays. No total in this game. It does sound like Davis Martin will pitch for the White Sox, and then Rasmussen will pitch for the Rays. It's probably because Martin's on the IL. They don't typically night before post that stuff. But everything points towards him starting this game. He wasn't out too long. It was like a forearm injury. So with the All-Star break, I feel like, he was probably really close to being ready. And then the All-Star break happened. He did pitch a rehab start or two. I think it was two. Davis Martin doesn't really matter. Like he's such a below average strikeout pitcher. He's sitting at like 16% this year. No interest in Davis Martin. I mean, I definitely have a little bit of interest in Rasmussen. He's been pitching, like he just hasn't been pitching a ton of innings. So I feel like that is the biggest concern when you're looking at him is just like the amount of innings he's been pitching it's tough. They did put out a thing after his last outing that the next time he was going to come through the rotation, he was going to handle a workload of a regular starter. So I think we could try to potentially get ahead of it. Good matchup against the White Sox. I could see him getting 75 to 85 pitches here. Wish he was a little bit cheaper. Good matchup. Don't hate the idea of taking some shots on him. Just trying to find that article and I don't see it, but I remember reading something. I have the beat writer for Tampa on my Twitter, and anytime he posts stuff, I see it. As far as the White Sox bats, I know they hit the ball. Okay. Okay. Just I don't know. I never get excited about playing White Sox bats. It's really hard for me to get excited about playing them. I don't really love it, so I'll probably stay away. Trying to see Tampa. I like the Tampa side. I think that obviously they didn't do as well as we all kind of hoped they would do, but Davis Martin is definitely someone you could pick on. He does give up power to both sides of the plate. He's a very low strikeout pitcher, especially the lefties. So I think it's, short memory type of situation for Tampa. And look at the Rays here against Davis Martin. Kansas City at Chicago taking on the Cubs. No total in this game. It threw me off when I was doing research for this game, and I saw that Rich Hill was going to pitch. I don't know how old Rich Hill is, but I know he's getting up there, and he doesn't miss bats. So yeah, very interested to see what the weather looks like in Wrigley for this game, because we're not playing Rich Hill, and if we get anything besides like blowing in at like 15 miles an hour, we're gonna like the Cubs bats. Talk about that in just a second when we get to the bats situation here. Boyd against Kansas City. I think Boyd is playable. He has above average strikeout stuff, doesn't walk hitters, really good against lefties, which kind of takes out two of the power bats in this lineup. And the guy you're definitely worried about here is Witt. Garcia's been really good against lefties this year, but I think when you look at this pitching slate and who we have on this pitching slate as a whole, I think this is a spot you definitely want to play a little bit of Matt Boyd against Kansas City. The bats, I mean, it's basically the two guys I just said, Garcia, Witt. I mean, India is cheap. He doesn't have a ton of power, but he's an on-base machine against lefties, so I don't necessarily hate that. Rich Hill, I mean, stack him up. If the wind is not blowing in, it looks like we're going to get a little bit of crosswind. I mean, play the Cubs in this spot. They quite possibly could be the best stack on the slate with this matchup against Rich Hill. Like, Rich Hill, there's nobody else, Kansas City. Like, I'm being like, I'm legitimately asking a question. Like, instead of 45-year-old Rich Hill, there's nobody else. I know their farm system. I was looking at it the other day. Their farm system, like their top like 10 prospects now that Jock is like called up. Their like top 10 prospects are like all single or double A outside of the catcher that is expected to replace Perez. Is it Jansen or Mitchell? One of those two guys. I know. I think that's the two guys. I like the Cubs a lot. Rich Hill, not going to blow the ball by anybody. I think the Cubs are in a really good spot in this one. Athletics going to Texas. No total in this game. Kind of seems like a total here. Night before is not getting any totals. JT Ginn going up against Jacob deGrom. Looks like a bullpen type of situation for the Athletics. Don't know if they'll announce an opener. That's why I'm assuming there's no line posted, is because we might get, or a long reliever. Sorry, I said it backwards. We're not playing Ginn. He's not stretched out. He's not very good. So I mean, that's that. The real question is like deGrom. I liked him yesterday, and then they went to Jack Leiter, and now, I mean, I'm just going to play him a little bit here for sure. And I say a little bit. He'll probably be one of my highest owned pitchers on the slate. So I like the upside for Jacob deGrom here. St. Louis at, oh no, sorry. I just totally skipped over the bats. Not very interested in the Athletic bats. I'll say that. I did not mean to skip over them, but I mean, the guys you'd play, Kurtz, Rooker, Lingliers, but I definitely prefer the Jacob deGrom side of this one. As far as the bats, typically I don't like bullpen games, but the Athletics have one of the worst bullpens in baseball. So I think the Texas stack is very viable today, just in general. It'd be really interesting to see what the lineup looks like because of some injuries. But yeah, I mean, I think the Texas stack is a full go type of stack on this one. St. Louis at Colorado going into Coors, 12 total in this game. I did bet the under 11.5 on Monday. I don't know where that game was. I know it was probably not going to hit. So rooting for that one to hit. Did it finish already? No, it's not over, right? All right. 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Okay. Hey, we're live. We're live. Like it. Probably not. I still not believing that I'm gonna get there on that one. Think I'm 5 or 6-1 tonight on bets. It was a really good betting night for me. So if you do want to get access to my bets, I post my bets every single day on my Patreon, which is linked in the show comments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-1. So even if I miss the under in that game, I'm okay. I had a good day betting. Lopez, Devers bases, Elder over earned runs, under 3.5 in the Pittsburgh Detroit game. That one was scary because they gave up 3 runs in the second. And then Stowers and Manzardo did their job today, which is great. So good betting day. St. Louis, Colorado, Fetty, and it sounds like Bradley Blaylock is going to pitch. Block. I know I'm saying it wrong. I have to obviously look it up. I have no idea who this guy is. I know a lot of baseball pitchers and a lot of stuff when it comes to baseball, but I am not lying. I have no idea who this guy is. Yeah, I'm looking up his stats. Sorry. Blaylock. Okay, Blaylock. Yeah, no idea who this guy is, but he's pitching baseballs in Coors against the Cardinals here. We'll start with Fetty. We're not playing him in Coors. I did say like I was very on the fence on McGreevy, and I mean it looks like he pitched okay. I honestly didn't watch a lot of that game today. McGreevy, what did he end up with? McGreevy had 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout. So he didn't get the strikeouts, which was definitely the downside to playing him. Yeah, but I'm not playing Fetty. He's just not very good anymore. I don't know if he was ever very good, but very low strikeout pitcher. McGreevy, like he gave up hits and didn't get the strikeouts. Like what I talked about on the podcast yesterday, his pitch mix wasn't the best for Coors. So we'll chalk that one up to being on the right side of right. Blaylock here. I mean, he has been awful. I mean, the Cardinals, like, I hate stacking cores when they're chalky. I don't care today. Love this spot for St. Louis. I will say Burleson. I think it was Burleson. Derek, you're in the chat. You're the Cardinals guy. Was it Burleson that left the game early? I thought I saw a report that Burleson. I know somebody from the Cardinals left the game early. So watch for that. But yeah, stack the Cardinals up here. Burleson knee. So yeah, he'll probably miss this game, which could open up a cheap bat or two. I would love for like it to be a guy like Victor Scott getting up there towards the top of the lineup with his speed. So love this spot for the Cardinals. Don't overthink this one. Bad bullpen, bad pitcher, good spot. Fetty can't throw strikes. His command is awful. His walk rate is almost as high as his strikeout rate. I like Moniak, Goodman, Beck, McMahon, Tovar. The bottom half of this lineup is really bad. It's a really, really bad lineup. But with that said, Fernandez is like 3,100. So I don't mind taking some tournament shots on him because Fetty, he's just bad. It's really bad. Houston at Arizona. Taking on Diamondbacks, we got 8.5 total. The Astros are 126 favorite. Rodriguez and Valdez facing off against each other. It's crazy because you would think that Valdez would be like a pretty decent favorite here. He's pitched great this year. 25% Ks, 115 ISO, 278 WOBA. Just continues to generate ground ball after ground ball. I mean, definitely in play in this matchup against Arizona. Arizona much better against right-handed pitching than they are against left-handed pitching. Not saying they're bad against left-handed pitching. So So yeah, I mean, I think that Valdez very playable. Game that he's definitely capable of putting up 25 plus. Erod on the other side of this game, the Houston lineup is really bad. Don't tell Zach Gallen that. But they're gonna have quite a few righties in the lineup. Rodriguez definitely has a higher strikeout rate to righties. He just gives up a ton of power. 5 home runs over his last 2 starts, 12 earned runs. And that was like Kansas City and San Diego. He's very capable of pitching good games. At 7,700, I don't hate the idea of taking shots, but I do like some of these bats more than I like Rodriguez today. Cam Smith probably hits leadoff. Altuve. If Garantini's in there, he's a cheap catcher that has some pop. Diaz is another catcher that has some pop in this lineup. Hummel, we don't have a ton of data on Hummel, but from the small sample size that we have so far, Hummel's been good against lefties. This lineup is really bad. And I will say that Christian Walker, who's been awful against lefties this year, definitely gets a little bit of a bump in the back of my head with the revenge here. So Arizona bats, I don't really like any of them. Such a huge ground ball pitcher. I will say, like Suarez, I talked about him yesterday. I think he had another home run tonight on Monday night. So he just keeps raking. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I could see taking some shots here on Suarez. But outside of that, Valdez is such a good ground ball pitcher. And looking at the advanced stats, like outside of Suarez, there's not another good fly ball hitter in this lineup. So, spot that I typically will stay away from a spot like this just because of ground ball pitchers are just so hard to hit home runs off when they're good ground ball pitchers like he is. Up next, I mean, I'm not purposely. It's like, I just feel like it's that time of the year where kind of know what we like and what we don't like in baseball, and I kind of cruise through these games. It's not on purpose, but Milwaukee at Seattle, 6.5 total in this game. Mariners a very slight 120 favorite. Jacob, was it Mizorowski, I think. Mizorowski. I think that's pretty close. We'll go with that. Mizorowski and Gilbert faced off against each other. Mizorowski has definitely shown some strikeout ability in the small sample size that we've had for him. He really struggles with like left-handed power. So if he could just keep the ball in the ballpark against like Cal Riley and like Canzone, he has a quite a bit of strikeout upside here. So he's expensive. He's definitely lived up to the hype for strikeouts, coming off of a massive start right before the break against the Dodgers. I think we have to take some shots on him in this ballpark against the strikeout team. And then Logan Gilbert on the other side. I mean, Gilbert's strikeout stuff has definitely increased this year. Missed some time, but like he looks like he's getting back to form. At least 7 strikeouts in 3 of his last 4 starts. So I like both pitchers. I think this is a low-scoring game. I know it's like 6.5, but it's hard not to have interest in like the under in this game. I'm pulling up first 5 innings, total runs. Oh, I'm gonna bet this right now. Under 3.5 first 5 innings, minus 120. I'm in on this one. Yeah, I'm in. Just put that in there. So there's the morning grind bet for the day. We had the strikeouts for Lopez yesterday. Today is Milwaukee at Seattle. First 5 innings, total runs under 3.5. Minus 120 is what I got it at in Florida. I have no interest in bats in this game. I really don't. Nothing that jumps out. Like I want nothing to do with bats in this game. I think this is a pitching duel. Way better bats. Those early games that we talked about, way better bats than this game. Twins, Dodgers, 8.5 total in this one. Dodgers, a 225 favorite. Yamamoto against Woods Richardson. No interest in Woods Richardson. Below average strikeout pitcher that struggles with left-handed power. really kind of struggles in general. So I'm out on Woods Richardson. No real interest in him. And then the other side of this game with Yamamoto, I think he's capable of big games. And he is definitely pitching better. Like he went down that stretch where he struggled, but like 3 of his last 4 games have been really good. The matchup against the Twins, I mean, the Twins have not been a bad offense this year. You know, you don't want to label them as a bad offense. They're 12th in ISO against right-handed pitching. They're 23rd in WRC plus, which is not great. Strikeout wise, though, middle of the field. So, I mean, I think you could take shots on Yamamoto. Like realistically, when I'm looking at this slate from a pitcher's perspective, I don't really have a ton of interest in like going over 50% on anybody, even in like a 20-inch max build. I'm probably going to spread out my ownership between Miz, Valdez, DeGrom, Yamamoto, Gilbert, Boyd, Rasmussen potentially. Where it gets interesting is like the cheap pitchers. I don't think there's a lot of great cheap pitching options today. Not like pitching. The cheap pitchers necessarily worked out on Monday's slate either. Gallen and Lopez. Lopez was so close to being okay. All right. Bats from this one. I mean, no real interest in the Minnesota bats. Maybe a little bit of power with like Clemens or Buxton, but probably not going to get a lot of exposure. I like Dodgers, though. I think it's a good spot for the Dodgers. Wood Richardson is very hittable. This lineup is so hit or miss just in general. I mean, Will Smith, pay up type play for a catcher. Love this spot for Ohtani, one of the top hitters on the slate. I think Betts still too cheap. Freeman too cheap. Teoscar too cheap. So Dodger stack definitely doable with not even the greatest like cheap pitching on the slate. I think the Dodger stack is still very doable today. All right, cruise to that one. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Saw the comments on the podcast yesterday. Appreciate the love for being back. Enjoyed the break. I feel like it came back good. I mean, I feel like a lot of the stuff I talked about on the podcast worked out. And yeah, I mean, bats wise, like I said, I wish the Giants would have done a little bit more, but they did enough with. I had a Giants Braves stack. Morning grind game. Sorry. Got thrown off there by a text message. Morning grind game under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. I think it's Erod or Montas. I think those are the 2 like strikeout options under 8K. I think that's where I would go. Over 8K to go under 15. I was trying to look at this and I'm like, man, I like a lot of these pitchers today. I think most of these guys get there. If I had to pick somebody, I think it'd be Rasmussen. But I think most of these guys get there today. I think pitching is pretty strong on this slate. There's a lot of options at pitcher just in general today. Home run over 4K. I mean, my initial thought is Suzuki for the Cubs. Obviously, we don't know what the wind is necessarily going to do, but Suzuki has a 300 plus ISO against left-handed pitching, and I mean Rich Hill. This is awful. So Suzuki is my home run call of the day. under 4K to score 10 plus points on DraftKings. I forgot to write somebody down on this one. Let's go with Cam Smith. Cam Smith. Stack to score 6 more runs. I mean, okay, I love the Cubs. Cubs probably my favorite stack on the slate today. I don't have to say that. Let's go Rangers. Maybe the Rangers go a little lower owned today. So Rangers. I think the Rangers. That's it. I appreciate everyone for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Let's get to 2,000. I'm planning on doing a minor league baseball hat giveaway at 2,000 subs. So let's get to 2,000 and we'll have some fun giving away a minor league hat. I'm going to pick it out. So it'd be a hat that I pick out that I send to you. So I'll give it. We're going to do a random giveaway when we get to 2,000 subs. So appreciate everyone. Love the chat and have a great Tuesday. I'll see you again tomorrow.